Welcome to Poetry with Shing, where we uncover the beauty behind poetry. In today's episode, we will be looking at two poems, A Solar Eclipse by Ella Wheeler Wilcox and Set Steps by Philip Larkin. And our central question for today would be to write a critical comparison of the following poems, considering how the poets use the image of the moon to convey their intentions. Our answer should involve a detailed examination of poetic form and language. So now we're going to dive right in to a possible way in which you could structure your answer to the question that is handwritten on the screen over here. Alright, whenever we're ready, we'll begin. Poem A Solar Eclipse by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, and Poem B, Set Steps by Philip Larkin, both employ the image of the moon to convey their intentions. While Poem A adopts a hopeful tilt in the romantic pursuit of love, so it's a hopeful tilt, portraying the moon as symbolic for love, Poem B mourns the loss of youth and the melancholy of its temporal nature by using the moon as a reminder of determination and gut of the young. So, determination and gut of the young. Poem A reveals the role of the female in a romantic relationship by employing the moon as symbolism for subservience and loyalty in love. The ABBA rhyme scheme conveys the regularity of love such that love follows a conventional pattern that is unchanging, highlighting loyalty in a relationship. The personification of the moon as a pallid, faithful character further reinforces the moon's loyalty. So we have our pallid, faithful moon, as it is steadfast and a constant presence in the Earth's life. Additionally, vivid imagery of at times natal hour was first begun shines ever on her lover as they run, and lights his orbit with her silvery smile. So these are the 3 lines that I just referenced, reveals Wilcox's notions of the role of a female in a relationship as a strong support system for her companion by sacrificing herself. So an idea of being sacrificial and loyal companion. The diction of lights his orbit highlights how the moon willingly guides the earth in his journey, a representation of a lover's sacrifice for her companion through giving her support and her total value, since the value of the moon lies in its light, in reference to how sailors look to planetary bodies in the sky when at sea to guide them back home to safety. Given that the moon was named a she, it implies Wilcox perceives the notion of a female as a subservient and loyal character set in the backdrop of her male companion's life, showing her intention of utilizing the motif of the moon to convey her ideals of a female's role in romantic love. Similar to the steadfast loyalty and subservience in love, Poem B reflects the determination and gut of youth by employing the moon as a representation of youthfulness. Through the personification of the moon as hard, bright, and having a plain, far-reaching singleness of that white stare. So that would be here. Of that white stare, Larkin reveals the determination and persevering nature of youth. The diction of singleness indicates the single-minded ambition of youths as they work, determined to achieve, highlighting the nature of youth as filled with perseverance and endurance. So the idea here of single-mindedness. Furthermore, the moon symbolism of youth holds true in a reminder of the strength and pain of being young, with strength reinforcing the gut of the young, and pain echoing in how the moon is small compared to the earth and has always lived in its shadow, resulting in a similar pain as youth where humans yearn to grow up and not be inferior to others. As such, Larkin conveys the moon as emblematic of the drive, determination, and passion of youth, The quality of youth as being enduringly determined is similar to the quality of love being steadfast, as both are able to hold out in the test against time. So this idea just now that I mentioned about the strength of being young highlights the determination of youth. Additionally, poem A uses the image of the moon to represent the unconditional nature of love in life to show Wilcox's message of the admirable nature of love. Through personification in pale with the swift, keen purpose of that race, which at times natal hours was first begun, reveals the unwavering love that defies the odds, making it admirable as it has been going on for a long duration. The idea of time's natal hour shows that the moon has been in a relationship with the earth for very long, and despite the distractions of the sun and other planets, the moon and earth are still together. This shows that Wilcox seeks to convey that love is unconditional and unwavering. On the other hand, poem B conveys the temporal nature of youth through the personification of the moon. The moon dashes through the clouds over here, revealing the frenzy and rush experienced by the moon, just like how youth is fleeting and at times rushed, leaving no time to fully appreciate its worth. Similarly, Larkin's acknowledgement of "it can't come again", with it referring to youth, highlights how youth is temporal and transient. Drawing parallels to the phenomenon of the moon being waxing and waning, where every day the moon looks different, it further reinforces the message Larkin conveys that youth, unlike love, is temporal. So this idea of temporality is conveyed in poem B. Finally, poem A starkly reminds us of the blinding nature of love through the triangular love relationship between the moon, earth, and sun. Down from her beaten path she softly slips, and with her mantle veils the sun's bold eyes over here, highlights that despite the moon's fatigue at having sacrificed so much for the earth by following him in orbit, when she is tired, she ensures she blocks the sun's view and finds her lover's lips. By repeatedly choosing the earth over the sun, portrayed to be majestic and the epitome of masculine beauty, from mighty all directing over here on the top, it portrays love as blind, with the moon utterly devoted to the earth. Ironically, the charm of the moon is borrowed from the sun, as her allure of her shines ever on her lover is derived from reflection of light from the sun onto the moon. Despite that, Earth continues being in a relationship with moon, emphasizing how love is blind and uncaring for caveats of the faults in the lovers, as they are overly consumed in their romance. Sadly, the blind nature of love also commands power, as the moon is represented as being smaller than the sun. Yet it separates the earth and the sun in a solar eclipse, the emblem of unrequited love on the sun's path towards the moon, which is reflective of Wilcox's message that blind love brings hurt and distance between humans, fostering disconnect. So this idea of a solar eclipse is when the sun and moon are separated by earth. So sun experiences unrequited love. Interestingly, the blinding nature of love is also shown from a third perspective through denial, as men our world call wise see only that the sun is in eclipse, at the last two lines. By reducing a love triangle into a scientific phenomenon, it undercuts the seriousness of love and downplays its emotional significance, showing humanity's denial of such passionate emotion due to their cowardice. So this reduction of love to a scientific phenomenon could also, at the same time, off the top of my head, be humanity's way of seeking solace in something that's very certain, just like the sciences, while love is very ambiguous, intangible, and sometimes hard to describe. Furthermore, by painting the third wheel, the sun, as an eclipse, signifying in a limbo, it skirts around the actual role the sun plays in the romance, and the comforting label of a limbo, or rather, in transit, saves the dignity of the third wheel, which is the sun. Thus, in reflection of the dynamics of the sun, moon, and earth to today's society, Wilcox seeks to spread awareness of the blinding value of love and urges against denial in the face of love. Instead, she suggests facing love head-on in reality. Conversely, in poem B, the image of the moon as a symbol of purity and innocence is highlighted through the juxtaposition of the purity of the moon and the daunting nature of reality. A cavernous, a wind-picked sky is contrasted against the moon's cleanliness. So that would be up here. These two are in contrast. With the diction of cavernous suggesting large, agape, and treacherous, the innocent purity of the moon's cleanliness does not fit in the realities of society. As such, Larkin is mournful of the cruelty of society in robbing youth of their innocence, and hopes for the preservation of innocence that is in itself an impossibility. In conclusion, both poems use the image of the moon, with poem A addressing the theme of love associated with the moon, and poem B with the theme of youth. Fundamentally, they deal with human emotion and its similarities with nature. Hence, both poems call readers to action with their intention of urging readers to re-examine human emotion and key milestones, such as teenagehood, courtship, and love, in order to cherish them more. Alright, that's it for today's episode of Poetry with Shing. Hope that you enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you at our next episode. Thank you and goodbye.